point out. First of all, make sure there's room for passage, all good. Yofi. There's a few things that I want to point out. First of all, over there, there's a synagogue. Sometimes the synagogue is open. It's a great opportunity to go in with your travelers that have never been in a synagogue. Show them where the covenant is. Show them what a Sephardic synagogue looks like. That is concentric and not in rows like an Ashkenazi synagogue. You can show them what a kippah is. It's a great opportunity to kind of show them what's in our covenant. We're expecting to have a Torah scroll. What's our weekly portions that we read the entire Torah for a whole year. This is what the synagogue is good for, just over there. We have here a elana Goor museum. Elana Goor museum is she's an artist, she's an art collector. She has a house over here. The house functions as a museum. You can walk in. The last I know is their tour guide agreement. If you walk in with up to 7 guests, the entrance is for free. And you can either guide them or let them just roam around the house. There's a souvenir store in the bottom of the house. This is a good thing to do if your travelers are telling you, I want to go to Old Jaffa, but I also want to meet local artists. So this is one of the best opportunities to go to. Really nice, organized. Okay, good. We have here the other entrance to Ben Zion, the jewelry makers. And this is a good opportunity for those of you that are curious to ask, whoa, stop. What is the deal? Guys, please don't speak. What is the deal with all of these jewelry makers and the designers and artists? Why? Why here? And I will say that this takes us back to a war. Now, this is the point, this is the downer of the tour, right? Because up until now, everything was nice, fun, taking photos. So we really want to be very delicate with this political history. We don't know who's the person who is in front of us, and we want to allow as many opinions as we can. Because we're not here to indoctrinate, we're here to present the history from as many different perspectives as we can. Jaffa, up until 1948, was a very, very big city. It was an important city for the Arabs of Palestine. How important? The third largest mosque, guys. Big, important city. Around the city of Jaffa, lots of Arab villages. It was so important, so big, that it was in fact a part of the United Nations plan, the partition plan. It was meant to be a part of the Palestinian state. That is how important it was. How many people lived there? Between 65 to 80,000 people. Depends who you ask. Of course, lots of historians, lots of opinions, but let's say even if it's 65,000, it's still a lot of people that lived in the old city and the areas around. Okay? And this is something that we'll mention a little bit later. After the United Nations declared the two-state solution, a war will start, a civil war between the Jews and the Arabs of Palestine. And during this war, this war is going to be very, very, very bloody. During this war, the Etzel are going to make a lot of operations even before the declaration of independence of Israel. We're talking about January, and January there was the explosion in the clock tower. We'll talk about it later. And in April, Jaffa was conquered by what will be Israeli forces. Now, what does that mean? If you have a war in your doorstep, what do? You protect yourself. You get out of here. You either get out of here because you're afraid for your life and you want to come back later, so you're locking your house and you take the key. Maybe you run away because you heard the Israelis threatening you. What will happen if they take over? Maybe you run away because someone promised you that it's going to be better later. It doesn't matter. Most of us have a family, we have kids, we want to protect our kids. There's a boat. I'm going to take the boat to my cousin in Beirut. I'm going to take the boat to my cousin in Gaza. I'm going to take the boat to my cousin in Paris. And I'm getting out of here. Out of 65 to 80,000 people, we had less than 5,000 in all of Great Jaffa that remained. So only the people that couldn't afford to live, they stayed. Less than 5,000. Now, what happens with them? At the beginning, in the first few years, the Israeli authorities will concentrate them in a ghetto, according to this is the word that the Israeli military regime installed. A ghetto in Ajami. Ajami is one neighborhood south of the old city of Jaffa. We'll see it in a moment. They will be in this ghetto until eventually the military regime is going to break apart And until this very day, the majority of the Arabs of Jaffa lives in Ajami, exactly. Now, what happens with all of these houses? Now, we spoke about the Arabs that left Jaffa. But wait, the day after the declarations of independence of the State of Israel, what happens to the Jews that lived in Arab countries?
They left their houses.
Either they left their houses or they were told to leave their houses. By the Moroccan government, in Libya, and Tunisia, and Algeria, and Egypt, and Yemen, and Iraq, and Lebanon, and Syria. Lots of Jews used to live in these places. And they they knock on the door of the newly established State of Israel. And they come with the little that they've had. And we're talking about also Jews that are Holocaust survivors, Jews that are coming from south of Europe, the Balkan area. And the State of Israel is like, what am I going to do with all these people? Where will I let them live in? Oh, there's all these empty houses here. So the first thing they do is they let Jews, some Jews, North African Jews, some Balkan area Jews, Balkan originated Jews, to live in the old city of Jaffa. אנחנו לא נכנסים, סליחה, תודה. The Jews are living here. Remember, I told you they come here with very little money. They don't have their tools to work and to produce anything. There's a lot of poverty here, and a lot of poverty leads to crime, drugs, crime, prostitution. When I meet all the Israelis, they say my parents wouldn't let me come to the area of Jaffa. I actually guided here an old Israeli who said, yeah, I used to live in the Shetach HaGadol, in the old city of Jaffa area, and just down the road was a brothel, and we used to pick through the shades, through the window. And the reality here is drugs, crime, prostitution, everything nasty. And at some point in the 60s, the municipality and the State of Israel says, but this is paradise. If we renovate it, there's going to be lots of tourists coming in. So the municipality offers alternative housing to the people that used to live in the old city of Jaffa in a shikunim, in the newly built apartment blocks in the area south of the old city of Jaffa, in Bat Yam. Now, if you had a choice between an old city or a new apartment with running water, what would you choose? New apartment with running water, right? Nice. So after the area is becoming empty, the municipality is renovating it, putting the infrastructure that we see today, and they offer it. Now they want to gentrify it. Now, I don't know how much you know about urban planning, but the theories in urban planning is that and how to gentrify an area. First comes the
poor people, the
artists. First comes the artists. So the municipality offers the old city of Jaffa as an artist colony. If you can prove that you're making art, you're going to use the area, that space as an art studio or a gallery, then you get to rent an apartment here. And they gave דמי מפתח long-term rental agreements with a very, very low rent. Now the artists are like, who cares if there's drugs there? Let's go, it's cheap. And artists are starting to move in here. Until this very day, if you want to rent a studio here, like this studio is brand new, you have to prove that you are an artist and you're going to have here an art gallery or a studio. So that is the demography of the old city of Jaffa. Very few people actually live here, but until this very day, the majority of the businesses are art galleries. Now, did I answer everyone's questions? Is everyone angry at me because I wasn't politically correct enough? Okay, good.